They wear blue jeans or battle fatigues. They approach Latino men, at times yelling and carrying assault rifles. When someone runs, they're taken. When they don't answer a question, they're taken. When they can't produce papers, they're taken. For the past month, federal agents have swarmed Los Angeles County, rounding up over 1,600 people, often in their homes or at work. To better understand the scale of this operation currently underway in Los Angeles, our partners at Bellingcat have mapped out the Department of Homeland Security's actions across the region. And together with our partners at Evident Media, we've created the most comprehensive open source examination of the operation so far. In total, over 100 videos have been geolocated and verified, displaying patterns of where DHS has focused their efforts, including raids at over 15 separate Home Depots, private farmland, and a swap meet. The examination also revealed many instances of use of force. In several instances where witnesses said that Border Patrol agents detained people on private property without a warrant. The raids...
That vest is way too small for his ass. Look, you cannot keep doing shit like this to people. Like, on many, many occasions, a comparison has been made between this shit and the Gestapo, but you don't necessarily have to go 80 years backwards into the ether to draw a comparison. Like, the Klan was doing shit like this, maybe not like massive raids into black communities like this, dragging people, but like they did their little guerrilla type shit, just pop up if you had registered to vote, for example. They would just come to your house, drag you off in the middle of the night, and you would disappear. They'd feed you to the swamp. They'd feed you to the alligators in the swamp. Like, this is what America has always been. And I find it ludicrous that people are like, oh, suburban wine moms are the vanguard of socialism, as opposed to Appalachian and Southern people. Yes, they have problems. They have issues. And yes, I want to keep talking about this because people are being fucking ignorant. Like, oh, yeah, suburban wine moms are better to organize with than stupid hillbillies in Appalachia. Like, I don't know. I thought socialism, I thought communism, all this shit, I thought that was for the poor. Why would you be afraid to talk to the poor? Why would you be afraid to talk to these guys? Why would you be afraid to talk to fucking Cletus in pig shit West Virginia? Like, I don't know. A lot of the left is just scared of poor people despite their valorization of them and seeing them as either hopelessly unsalvageable hillbillies that deserve to be shuffled off into some type of concentration camp, or people who can do no wrong. People are complicated. People have a variety of opinions on different things developed by their material conditions and the conditions in which they're raised and the brainwashing that they've experienced. Oh, you like my hat? Thank you. I like my hat too. I thought I had lost it, but it's now found. Yeah, it's what happens when you're a treatler, right? You have too many hats. But yeah, this hat has seen some shit. This is my seen some shit hat. I like my hat too. Thank you.
In Los Angeles appear to be designed to meet aggressive deportation quotas passed down from Trump officials, who have ordered ICE to raid specific businesses.
Home Depot and 7-Eleven. They know that migrants gather at Home Depot. Why? Because it's hard for them to find work otherwise. So they're literally forced to do this. It's basically like, it's like a modern day fucking slave auction. That's what it is. Back in the day in New York City, like maids and people who were seeking domestic work, gardeners, handymen, etc., they would gather on a corner, a specific corner in Harlem in New York City, and rich white housewives from Long Island or Westchester County and other such places, they would gather, and they would like pick out. It's like a slave auction. They would pick out the people that they wanted. Oh, you're a big guy. Want to come do some garden work at my house? Yeah, it's extremely degrading. It's extremely disgusting. But that's what these people were forced to do if they had to eat. These were our ancestors as black people. This is what we were forced to suffer and go through. So, as a black person, I cannot help but draw parallels between the historical and current treatment of my people in this country and the treatment of our Latino brothers and sisters. It's not just Latinos that are being fucked with by ICE, by the way. You have Haitians, you have Jamaicans, you have Trinis, you have all types of people. These people do not give a fuck. You've already seen that they have a quota. 3,000 immigrants must be snatched up, and that's what's going on. You've seen Alligator Alcatraz. You've seen what they're preparing, and if you think that these are just going to be reserved for immigrants, you're wrong. That shit's targeting us. Even if it wasn't targeting us, even if it wasn't targeting radicals or people who disagree with it, with the way that the system is going, um, this is inhumane. This is disgusting. It's wrong, and it must be combated, as Leonard would say, with all the rules of the art. Otherwise, we cannot call ourselves socialists, communists, anarchists, whatsoever, because communism is about action. Socialism is about action. Anarchism is about action. We believe that our ideals will be victorious through our work and the work of the masses, our education of the masses, our politicization of the masses, organization of the masses. If all you do is sit and yap online, then you are really not a radical of any type, because apparently you don't believe enough in your own principles and in your own ideology to actually put it into practice. That's why I constantly tell you guys that do not just watch me, do not just watch streamers, do not just read Twitter hot takes. You actually have to go out and you actually have to put this shit into practice. That's what Mao did. That's what Makhno did. That's what Lenin did. That's what Sum Comandante Marcos did. Whatever. I wonder whatever happened to Top Comandante Marcos. Dom Comandante Marcos. But that's what all of our great theoreticians and revolutionaries and practitioners of revolution throughout history have done. You have to actually get out and do this shit. Otherwise, you cannot call yourself any type of radical or any type of militant. Does this mean go out and do stupid shit? No. I'm going to explain why later.
Across the country. But they've already been barred from conducting similar raids in the next district over, California's Central Valley. A judge there said they likely violated the Constitution.
It's also interesting, agribusiness interests, which rely on undocumented migrants, they've literally leaned on Trump to say, hey, can you please stop taking all of our fucking workers? So the money is starting to talk. So it's fascinating seeing how different strata of the ruling class are starting to eat each other alive and squabble. The beef between Trump and Musk, which I don't think it's just wrestling kayfabe or anything like that. Kayfabe, I'm sorry. It's not just that. I actually think that, like, when you put two, have you ever seen two narcissists, two people with huge fucking egos, especially men, try to interact? It's not a good time. So I think that these people literally hate each other. Trump and Musk literally fucking hate each other. Why? Because they're fucking narcissists. They're egotistical maniacs. One is the richest man in the world. One is the most politically powerful man in the world. So, yeah, obviously, they're not going to get along. That shotgun wedding, yeah, they're divorced.
Earlier this year, we reported on Operation Return to Sender, which saw Border Patrol agents travel over 300 miles to conduct deportation raids in the city of Bakersfield, resulting in the arrest of 78 individuals, 77 of which Border Patrol had no knowledge of criminal or immigration history prior to encountering them.
This has nothing to do with removing criminals. This has nothing to do with targeting the so-called worst of the worst. The overwhelming 99.97% of the people that are targeted in these things are average, ordinary, hard-working fucking people. Even if they were just so-called lazy bums that lay around all day, nobody should be subject to this treatment. Nobody should be subject to this treatment. You look at the ancestors of the Border Patrol people that are doing this shit. How did they get over here? If they're Italian, they came over in the bottom of a banana boat. If they're Irish, they came over in the middle of a banana boat. Everybody came here from somewhere else. Most of these people are not, like, did the Pilgrims have papers? Of course not. I'm the Puritans, I'm sorry. My ancestors, they only appeared on fucking shipping manifests. They literally were brought over here as objects, as cargo, to make white plantation owners richer. So why would you expect me, a guy whose ancestors came over here as enslaved, kidnapped, stolen Africans, to actually side with the ruling class on this? Everybody's welcome to the jungle. And yes, immigrants do contribute in many, many, many ways to the economy of this shithole. If it wasn't for immigrants, if it wasn't for migrants, our food would be sky high. Who built your house? Who fixed your car? Who washes your car? But even if they were not doing any of these socially necessary and important tasks, they still have the right to be here. Many of these people are of indigenous descent. They've been crossing back and forth between what is now the United States and what is now Mexico and Central America for thousands of years. This is their land. So who is the United States to come here and dictate who should be here and who should not? It's hypocrisy from top to bottom.
In April, a federal judge issued a preliminary injunction barring the Border Patrol from conducting warrantless raids in the Central Valley. That injunction is still in place in the Eastern District of California, but it has no bearing on California's Central District, which includes Los Angeles County. The raids in Bakersfield and Los Angeles share many similarities. Both have targeted Home Depots, focused on farmland, and swept through Latino marketplaces. The raids
People are going trying to pick up shit for their kids. Like a lot of these Latino marketplaces, these are the only places where you can get cultural products, food from back home, stuff for your daughter's quinceañera, stuff like that, stuff that they don't sell at Walmart, say. So you are literally targeting the Latino community. You are targeting and trying to break up communities. I mean, it's fucking Los Angeles, for fuck's sake. This was Mexico. This land was illegally taken from Mexico in a war that was rigged up by slave owners who got tired of getting their asses kicked by the Mexicans, so they called in Big Sugar, United States. Okay? No, learn your history. Texas, Nuevo Mexico, Colorado, Nevada, California, Los Angeles, San Diego, San Francisco. Like, bro, are you fucking dumb? If anything, the Mexicans and the Salvadoreños and the Hondureños and the Nicaraguenses have more of a right to be here than fucking people named Smith and Jones.
also share a chief architect, El Centro Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino, who was recently tapped to oversee DHS operations in Los Angeles.
I'm Greg Bovino, Chief Patrol Agent.
Everywhere there's some fucked up shit going on, it's going to be an Italian there.
Of the El Centro Border Patrol Sector and lead federal coordinator for Customs and Border Protection entities here.
Mamma mia, my name is Gregory Bovino. My ancestor came over here. He came in on a banana boat. He only had one shirt. And he come and he work hard. He joined la mafia, but he leave the mafia. And now he own a gabagool card. And now I'm a cop arresting a Mexicano because they don't come here legally.
In Los Angeles.
We spoke with Bovino after he conducted Operation Return to Sender.
I think the general public does see a difference between the paletero or the citrus worker and the fentanyl dealer, that they are not both on the same field.
If they cross the border illegally.
My ancestor crossed the border illegally, but there wasn't no border. We come through the ocean. There was no bigger wall on the ocean that say no Italiano can enter here. We come illegally. We come illegally, but we come illegally. You see the difference? The Mexicano, they crawled under the wall, but my ancestor, they come over the sea. There was no wall in the sea.
Then they're coming with us. They were under arrest, and they're coming with us.
You coming with us, because we don't care if you got the bambino. We don't care if you got the nothing. You break the law. My nonno, he was in the mafia, but they don't break the law. You come and you sell the dog and you sell the ice cream when you're not supposed to sell the ice cream, and you sell the corn with the corner thing. What do you call it? The elote. You sell the elote when you're not supposed to sell. You got the vendor license.
They need to leave, and they need to leave
Oh, fuck you, Karen.
right now.
In an attempt to temporarily halt DHS's operations in Los Angeles, the ACLU just filed a lawsuit claiming that
Like, your pigs have literally been collaborating with ICE for ever since this shit popped off. Your pigs have literally been collaborating with ICE. Your sheriffs, they've all been collaborating with ICE. And now here you are crying crocodile tears.
quote, the tactics used in Los Angeles bear the unmistakable
I hate fucking politicians, man. I don't think Zoran is going to be like this much of a hypocrite. That's why I continue to support him. But like, yeah. Thankfully, Karen Bass is not a DSA member. Otherwise, we would have another stupid thing to explain. AOC is enough.
hallmarks of Operation Return to Sender, citing Cal Matters reporting as evidence.
Better get used to us now, because
And you don't want to hear it either. I know for a fact that a lot of museums in the U.S. based on white ethnicity self-censor because it makes them mad to be reminded that grandpa and grandma came without papers. Yeah, like, white people are either, like, extremely proud of the horrible, fucked up shit that their ancestors did, like conquered, not stolen. That's a very common slogan of theirs. Or they want to memory hole the shit. They want to act like their ancestors just sprouted out of the ground like pumpkins, and they took no part in the genocide. They took no part in slavery. To be fair, most white people in the United States, their ancestors came over after slavery was ended, but they want to act like, oh yeah, My great-grandpa didn't have any part in Red Summer. My great-grandpa didn't do any lynchings. My great-grandpa didn't segregate his restaurant. We were good people. And they have to, because part of being white in the United States is an immense amount of cognitive dissonance. You have to believe firmly that everything you have is derived from hard work. It wasn't derived by fucking anybody over. It wasn't derived through exploitation or anything like that. Shit, before the 1800s, there weren't even no papers. You could literally just show the fuck up, claim some land, kill the people who are already on the land and take it. But a lot of these settlers, that's why so many of them claim to be indigenous, because they want to actually act like, oh, I have some blood tied to this land, and it's talking about blood ties like you're still getting it fucking backwards. You still have a European conception of this shit.
This is going to be normal very soon.
This new lawsuit will put Bovino's tactics to test, just like it did in the Central Valley.
It's good that this is being fought in court, but like, you can't just fucking rely on the courts. Okay, the courts belong to the ruling class. You cannot just rely on ruling class courts. Horrible flood in Texas. Liberals, of course, are acting a fool, blaming it. I don't know. Look, it is fucked up whenever little kids die in horrible manners, whether it be in Palestine or whether it be in a flood in Palestine, Texas. It's fucked up, okay? We should not over-politicize disasters. When I say politicize disasters, we should not act just because Texas went to Trump that these people deserve these horrible deaths, okay? Like, we have to have some modicum of human decency. Like, people do not deserve to suffer because their grandma or grandpa or their dad or their mom voted for Trump, okay? Like those kids at that fucking summer camp. Like, they didn't vote, okay? They didn't. Yes, it was a Christian summer camp, but that does not mean that they deserve to be swept away in a flash flood. That's a horrible fucking way to go out. So over 100 people have died. There are still 161 still missing. So this is definitely one of the worst disasters in this country in this decade.
In the Kerr County area alone, there are
How are liberals taking pleasure in a 14-year-old suffering? Because most liberals are evil. It's really, like, that's why I laugh at this whole wine moms thing. Like, I don't know if you, like, I've been around both rednecks and I've been around white suburban wine moms. I would take the redneck every day, to be honest.
161 people who are...
Like, fundamentally, there really is no difference between voting for Democrat or Republican. I'm sorry. The gap narrows every day. Most Democrats in this country are basically what the Republicans were in the 70s.
known to be missing.
Staggering numbers tonight on the Hill Country flooding disaster. Governor Greg Abbott.
Hill Country, I think that's where Bush Jr. lives. W.
Ended a press conference with the latest updates about a half hour ago. We're bringing you what we know, what we've learned, and the push for accountability now at 5.
News 4 San Antonio at 5. We're here for you.
Thank you for joining us now to the latest updates on the tragedy.
Yeah, we do want to get you caught up on the very latest numbers as it's just a couple of moments.
I find it hilarious how, like, Southern news anchors do not have Southern accents. And I think they teach them in journalism school. Like, everybody wants the flat Midwestern accent. Like, everybody wants to sound like they're from Missouri. Everybody wants to sound like they're from St. Louis. It's weird. I like regional accents.
Moments ago, 109 people are dead in floods across Texas.
So official death count is 109, 94 in Kerr County alone, 15 in other parts of Texas.
94 dead.
Let's see where Kerr County is.
Dead in Kerr County alone, 15 in other parts of the area. Governor Abbott says just in Kendall County alone, the deaths so far have surpassed the death toll from Hurricane Harvey. 5 Camp Mystic campers and 1 counselor are still unaccounted for, along with another child not associated with the camp. And as you heard there at the top of the show, just in Kerr County, there are 161 known people who are still missing.
Officials are asking anyone who needs to report a neighbor, a friend, a loved one, someone you know missing, if you think they are, then call this number, 830-258-1111.
And we do have team coverage for you tonight. Let's go and start with News 4 San Antonio.
So Kerr County, it's almost smack dab in the middle of the state. Apparently it was settled by Germans. A lot of those Germans were abolitionists, by the way.
Antonio's Ethan Trejo, who was at the governor's press conference. Ethan?
Hey guys, sorry, I am currently moving inside a bus. As you can see, we just got out of the governor's press conference. We are moving back to location right now at this current moment. I can tell you a little bit about what the governor did say. He currently said that with our numbers standing right now, we have 109 total deaths across the state, with 161 people still missing. Copy that. Thank you.
And at this stage, a few days after the disaster, you might as well count those 161 people missing as dead. Like, they're not going to find those people. Like, there's still people from Katrina that are listed missing. What happened was they were swept out to the Gulf of Mexico and devoured by sharks. That's what happened. They're never going to find any pieces of them. It's fucked up, but yeah, if you're still missing, like you haven't, like if I were to say if I went missing after a disaster, my first thing would be to like contact people who know me, let them know I'm all right. So if they haven't contacted you, if they haven't borrowed a cell phone from somebody or something like that, let them know you're all right. Yeah, you're probably dead. Your ass is grass, bro. It's fucked up, but yeah, incredibly horrible disaster. And of course, yes, Trump is mainly to blame because of defunding of essential disaster relief efforts. Like when my city was hit by that huge tornado in May, thankfully, I think only 4 or 5 people died. Definitely not this amount of destruction, but like the response was basically on the people. Like the feds did not come with shit. Of course, it's a lot better now, but it was just janky and mismanaged. Yes, North St. Louis was a canary. Missouri is a bellwether state. Like, usually, it's weird. Like, we usually get shit here, and then it spreads to the rest of the country.
He said that he reported the disaster.
Yeah, being in rushing waters with debris is a recipe for fast drownings. Like, if the water doesn't get you to shit, and then the thing a lot of people don't understand is that shit is toxic. That stuff will make you sick. That shit will hurt you. Philly is pretty stinky right now because the mayor, Sherelle Parker, is holding her hands and refusing to pay sanitation workers, unionized sanitation workers, appropriate salary. So they have rightfully refused to cart any more stinky trash. Buddy James out of Philly has written about it. He has a Substack. You should subscribe. Put your trash on the mayor's doorstep. Very good direct action. So, let's see what Jimmy has written. The streets of Philadelphia have been more cluttered than usual over the past week as the largest blue-collar workers union in the city has taken to the streets in protest of the city's refusal to meet their demands. Contract negotiations collapsed a little more than a week ago, and though there's some indication that the city's mayor, Sherelle Parker, has returned to the bargaining table, the historic strike is seemingly far from reaching a speedy conclusion. Philly is also about to get a massive fucking storm, so you're not just going to have garbage, you're going to have wet garbage. So if the mayor, whose fault this is entirely, does not come to accommodation with the union, there's going to be a bit of nasty shit going around. The local, which represents around 9,000 workers employed in jobs such as sanitation, the water department, 911 dispatching. They actually tried to have regular PPD, regular Philly cops, manage the dispatch, and it was a shit show. The union also covers street maintenance, crosswalk guards, and work at the Philadelphia International Airport. Their work in a lot of ways is critical to the survival of the city itself, from the trash collection that keeps public health crises from arising, to the water department operations keeping our drinking water clean, to 911 dispatchers, including the fastest possible response times for those in need. Without them, the city would simply cease to function. No, cops cannot do anything right. The reality is why so many across the city have been generally shocked at the mayor's continual refusal to meet what are, by all means, modest demands of the workers themselves. What do the workers want? Let's see. So this is the AFSCME, District Council 33, 2025, contract demands of the city of Philadelphia, issued in February. Let's see. All right, so you've got a purpose. Okay. Let's see. Contract demands for 2025-2028. This agreement shall be effective July 1st of 25 through June 30th, 2028. Health and welfare. The current plan should be continued with the following improvements. Consistent with its pledges in the past that the city will not allow any bargaining unit members' health and welfare coverage to lapse, the city shall pay the full cost of medical, prescription, dental and optical benefits for all members. The monthly contribution rate currently made by the city shall continue through June 30th, 2026. Effective July 1st, 2026, the contribution rate shall be increased to $1,700 per member per month. Employees in the bargaining unit shall receive wage increases of 8% effective July 1st, 8% effective July 1st, 2026, and 8% effective July 1st, 2027. Pandemic pay to reflect our members' valiant and faithful efforts in the face of constant threats to their health and safety, to provide services needed by the citizens of the city throughout the pandemic. Yeah, everybody knows that garbage work is nasty as fuck, but like people understand like how grueling and how backbreaking this shit is. I believe Kim Kelly posted on Twitter. She was talking to a garbage worker, a sanitation worker, and he was handling a bag of human shit, and the bag literally burst in his dude's face. The guy was literally covered with human shit, and he had to spend I think 2 days in the hospital to ensure that he did not contract a disease. So yes, all these demands are deserved. Okay, like these people, if it wasn't for the sanitation workers, if it wasn't for the water department, like our lives would be miserable. Cholera will be a thing. Malaria, dysentery, all that comes through mismanagement of waste and mismanagement of solid garbage. So these people are literally stopping us from dying. So they deserve all of this. All employees shall, in addition to the wage increase, be paid within 30 days of ratification a pandemic bonus of $5,000. For employees who continue to work on site throughout the pandemic, $3,000. For employees who worked a hybrid schedule for some periods and fully on site for other periods throughout the pandemic, and $2,500 for employees who worked a hybrid schedule. You have COLA increases, you have hiring and retention bonuses, and you have provisions for essential workers. Basic shit. They're not demanding to take over the city or anything like that. So like why do you not want to negotiate? Why are you treating these people like shit? This is shitty, literally. So they have every right to be out on strike. So the demands, which included, as I just pointed out, 8% increases in pay every year for 3 years, restrictions on the contracting out of jobs performed by union members, basically scabbing, paid holidays for Muslim holidays. Philly is one of the most Muslim cities in the United States, if I recall correctly, one of the most Muslim major cities. I think Dearborn is the most Muslim city in America. Allowances for tools and uniforms, so workers don't have to pay out of pocket, and city contributions for training and educational programs. And Cheryl Parker, instead of sitting at the table and realizing that, hey, we need these guys and gals and non-binary people, you're just like, you know what, fuck you. So what is she offering? Her counteroffer was a 13% wage increase, a fifth-tier pay scale for District Council 33, and an opportunity for union members to take part in the city's $2 billion housing plan, all the while for reasons unknown to anyone in Philadelphia, highlighting her salary that is almost $261,000 a year. But yeah, I'm going to link James's article in the chat because y'all all need to read this. But yeah, that's what's going on in Philly. Hopefully the workers get what they want. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty stinky and smelly, as it should be. You cannot just fuck people over. And this is bullshit. Come on, Auntie, just pay the people. Just pay the fucking people. Like, what exactly? Like, you're acting like it's coming out of your pockets personally or something. Did y'all see this shit yesterday?
Gathered at a park for what appeared to be an immigration-related operation, but the mayor claims the...
This was fucking... This is like, it's like this is being managed by the Keystone Cops. I'm going to show you this this Ken Clipperstein article in a minute, but this is wild.
The only thing interrupted was a children's summer camp. ABC's Christian Cordero has details. Christian, good morning.
Andrew, good morning. The questions being raised about that show of force come as more immigration officers come under attack, facing ambushes and assaults.
This morning, new question.
Of course, you're going to fucking highlight this shit that, look, if you don't want to be ambushed and assaulted, allegedly, then maybe find a different sphere of work. Like, it kills me. Like, why would you take a position as a cop, as an ICE agent, as a CBP officer, or any of these other positions, knowing that people are going to despise you? Knowing full well that people are going to despise you, and people are going to, according to Google, the U.S.'s only Muslim majority city is called Hamtramck. I believe that's an old Ford company town outside of Detroit. Huh, I know it was somewhere up there.
Questions after federal agents descended onto MacArthur Park.
Hey, what is the point? This is entirely unnecessary. The only purpose of this is to intimidate people and stoke fear.
In Los Angeles yesterday, 90 National Guard troops in tactical gear deploying to the mostly empty park. Officials only saying the troops were there to support immigration authorities.
What a disgrace, what's happening in MacArthur Park. What theater.
California Governor Gavin Newsom slamming the Trump administration.
Those National Guard men and women that were out there protecting people are now being used as political pawns.
Who were in the park today were children. It was their summer camp.
Neither one of these people is useless. Somebody asked in chat earlier, was Karen Bass a Maoist? I don't think she identified as a Maoist. I am pretty sure that she identified in the 70s as a communist of some sort, but I don't think she was ever a Maoist. She did organize, though, with the Venceremos Brigade, which I believe she's been to Cuba 8 times. And yeah, so she was a Cuban-American solidarity coordinator with the Venceremos Brigade, basically organizing leftists and Cuban solidarity activists to go to the to go to free Cuba and help out with the sugar harvest. So she has a pretty radical organizing background. This is why, yeah, I think that Karen in 1972 would hate Karen in 2025. This is why you do not let yourself be seduced by the trappings of power. Because it's not necessarily that we're allergic to power, but like what is the purpose of having power that you cannot or will not use? Mussolini also had a radical organizing background, yeah. Like, just because somebody was a communist once, it does not mean that they're a communist today. One of the hardest things for the communists is to remain such, in spite of all the entrapment schemes and all the bribes. And as if you're a good enough communist, they will try to buy you out. They'll be like, hey, we can make you a state senator. We can make you a state rep. We can buy you a house. And you have to resist that shit. You have to always remain rooted in the people. Otherwise, you'll end up like Karen Ass.
Mayor Karen Bass saying there were no threats at the park, only children whose camp was interrupted.
Did this 8-year-old tell me that he was afraid of ICE? Did the 8-year-old tell me that he was afraid of ICE taking his parents?
A recent report said the park is a crime-ridden, open-air drug market, but
no, it's not. It's a beautiful park.
No arrests.
I've been there.
Were reported during the troops' presence. It comes as federal officials report a spike in violence against immigration agents.
Because y'all are doing fucked up shit, and then like there's no way to even be certain that y'all cover your badges, or if you even have them in the first place. Y'all just barge up, run up without warrants, and just start snatching people. Like, especially if you're a woman or a non-male person or a queer person, that shit is frightening. You don't know if this is some type of serial killer or something using the climate to find out new victims and seize new victims, or if these people are actually legitimate law enforcement officials. Even if they are, that doesn't mean that they have the right to beat the shit out of you and drag you away without due process. Of course, it's called self-defense. Nobody's just going to sit and watch as their grandma or their dad or their mom is dragged away to parts unknown. The other day, I read you all Gilmore Abrego Garcia's account of his experience in Seacot, this bullshit dungeon that Trump is a big fan of, run by the fascist Nayib Bukele, who is an insult to the Palestinian people all around the world. But nobody's going to allow their family willfully to be subjected to this shit. Nobody. So of course people are going to fight back. Of course people are going to organize. Of course people are going to help defend their communities. Because like I said earlier, nobody deserves such a fate. Nobody deserves such a fate except for those who cheer for and carry out these horrible fucking acts.
With assaults against ICE and Border Patrol personnel up 500% since
Good, those are rookie numbers.
January. Just yesterday, a man in tactical gear opening fire on a Border Patrol facility in Texas. Police say 27-year-old Ryan Lewis Mosqueda fired dozens of rounds into the building near the McAllen airport.
So we'll get to that guy later. There are some critiques, but again, I will never denounce bravery. Although we don't even know if anger at ICE or like sometimes people just crash out. Like, we don't even know if it was political. Sometimes people just crash out and they watch the news and they be like, you know what? If I do this, I'll be a fucking hero. So Klippenstein writes that like he's very good at like making these people look like asses. So he writes, today's Homeland Security operation at the 35-acre MacArthur Park in the Westlake neighborhood of Los Angeles was a mere show of presence. So you tormented these 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 10-year-old little kids for what? To show your presence. I mean, if this was such a dangerous, drug-ridden park where you could apparently buy a fake ID for $5, why would kids be going to summer camp there? It's a beautiful park. Working-class LA loves MacArthur Park. It's supposedly the founding location of MS-13 and a hotbed of historic lawlessness. The news media is describing the operation as an ominous crackdown, but National Guard sources tell me it was a botched laughingstock. The military aspect of the operation, codenamed Operation Excalibur, has not been previously reported. The mission of the 1st Squadron, 18th Cavalry, is described as protecting DHS security points and blocking positions while they undertook the assault. So this is an executive summary of that thing. The population, a lot of people live here. 20,000 people live in the adjacent blocks to the park. And they broke it down. Like they literally have a map describing like what each building in this area is used for, what it's zoned for. DHS will provide 2 hours notice. So they've got a lot of schools listed and the Consulate General of Mexico in Los Angeles. On order, 118th Cavalry Squadron provides static interagency site protection, mounted mobile security, and joint force land component reserve support to Customs and Border Patrol and supporting federal agencies, whose intent at MacArthur Park is to demonstrate, through a show of presence, the capacity and freedom of maneuver of federal law enforcement within the Los Angeles Joint Operation. They literally have declared Los Angeles to be a war zone. Los Angeles Joint Operations Area. Baghdad, Joint Operations Area. Fallujah, Joint Operations Area. Kandahar, Joint. So you basically have an American city that has been designated officially as a war zone. So you have these people that are parading through MacArthur Park, scaring the shit out of all these kids at summer camp to show your strength. Basically a giant fucking dick measuring contest. And also make the liberal ruling class in LA appear weak, being like, oh, hey, look, this is what we can do and you guys can't do shit about it. Ha ha. So they literally blocked off the park. And it was literally a parade. It was a parade. Note the Mexican consulate is over here. So the Mexicans in the consulate can see you. And y'all are just what? Parading through the street, through the park. Useless. And those soldiers that are there, they're like, why are we doing this? This is not what I signed up for. Threat activity. So what are the people going to come out and do to you? They're afraid. They're afraid. Look at this. They have defined the threat to Department of Defense personnel operating in Los Angeles, an American city, mind you, a global city, is high. Potential for protests to arrive on site and transition to riots. Criminal elements, likely including foreign terrorist organization MS-13, consider the park their home turf and can escalate to lethal violence. The most likely threat faced by DoD personnel are crimes of opportunity such as assault, theft, and vandalism. So you're a big, badass U.S. soldier, the most well-funded military in the world, and you're afraid of somebody coming up to you picking your pocket? In addition to alleys ringing the park, they're talking about MS-13 like it's a guerrilla force. To be fair, gangs technically fall under the category of light infantry, but still. Maintains access to multiple 8 to 10-story residential apartment buildings immediately adjacent to the block. Most likely resistance is large-scale protests with improvised weapons. Most dangerous resistance is organized use of small arms, to attempt to kill or seriously injure federal personnel with shots of opportunity from large circles bringing the park. Well, that is definitely a good ARMA idea. In ARMA. So a National Guard member says, we were on objective for 24 minutes. Many of the phase lines were not reported because it didn't happen. So we parked and then we left. Troops did not get out of the trucks. They stayed in the back of the 5-ton military trucks sweating in the heat. The California National Guard believes that the whole spectacle is idiotic and shameful. Part of the reason for the confusion is the sheer number of government agencies involved. 9 different federal agencies, including the IRS for some reason, were assigned and they've been given spicy code names. The ATF is A&W. The Customs and Border Patrol is Canada Dry. The DEA is Dr. Pepper. The Feds, FBI, is Coke. The FPS is Fanta. HSI is Homeland Security Investigation is Hank. Ice and Arrow, or Inca, which is apparently some type of South American soda. U.S. Marshals are 7-Up. IRS is Sprite. Los Angeles Sheriffs are RC Cola. And LAPD is Pepsi. So the LAPD and the FBI hate each other, so you've got Coke and Pepsi wars. This is just unnecessarily stupid and dumb. Inca Cola. There you go. It's unnecessary, stupid, and dumb. But what else can define the United States in this conjuncture? So, back to the individual in Texas. Listen, I understand that seeing all this shit is enough to drive somebody that hasn't studied this type of shit crazy. But if you are watching this, if you follow my Twitter, if you follow anybody else's Twitter, and you are thinking about doing something like this, don't, okay? No, nobody's in my ear. Nobody told me to sit. Don't do it. Do not do shit like this. If I knew this guy, I would try to talk him out of it because, like, you are more useful to the movement, alive, and organizing. You are not useful to the movement if you run out and martyr yourself. Okay? If you martyr yourself, let it be in a collective action. Let it be because the masses demand you do something. Don't just decide that they'll just get internet poisoned and go out and do stupid shit like this. Again, we don't even know if this is political. So, yeah, the Fed said that this guy, basically, it wasn't even an ambush. Dude literally sped up to the entrance of this facility and just started fucking opening fire. That wasn't an ambush. That was a crash out. The guy's name was Ryan Luis Mosqueda, and apparently he was connected to a Michigan address and had a vehicle with Michigan tags. He was loaded for bear. They found another rifle and other weapons in his car, and he shot off dozens of rounds of ammunition before quickly being killed by the feds. One of the McAllen police was shot in the knee. So yeah. Dude basically just drove up and shot up a CBP facility. The suspect's vehicle was spray painted with the phrase Cordis D, which appears in a Call of Duty video game. So yeah, like it's like some type of weird anonymous but not anonymous type group. He was reported missing from the nearby town of Westlaco, Texas. Jose Mosqueda told police that his son, Ryan Mosqueda, was missing around 3:48 in the morning. He told people that his son had a mental deficiency, but no documents were provided. So yeah, again, it was a dude that he was impacted. Most likely, if I had to guess, he was fucked up by shit that he saw in the news, as any right-thinking person would be, and he decided to do this. The dude needed better aim. You're funny, Cedar. But yeah, this type of shit is not funny. Do we, as communists, encourage people to go out and do stuff like this? Absolutely not. Because we know that individual acts of violence that, mind you, don't even critically injure or factory reset any of the bad people in question. Like, this was just stupidity. It was a crash out. But again, do I admire dude's bravery? Yes, he had some balls. But if balls could make a revolution, then we would have been had one. You have to be smart. You have to organize. You have to prepare the masses. You have to link up and unite with the masses. The masses are more important than any gun. Okay? The masses are more important than any gun. What I can do we condemn Luigi Mangione or Elias Rodriguez or Rodney Hinton Jr. Any of these other people? Absolutely not. We do not condemn bravery, but at the same time, theoretically, as communists that actually give a fuck, we have to teach people the correct way to struggle, which is collectively. Speaking of collectively, let's see what else happened in Texas. Texas just seems to be getting hit up.
Here to tell you that late at night.
And yes, creating parallel power is a far better use of time. Like, the Fed's not afraid of guns, okay? Everybody got a gun in this country. This is America. It's literally enshrined in our Constitution. The Black Panther Party was not a threat simply because they had guns. The Black Panther Party was a threat because it occupied a special place in the heart of the new African people. And the new African people were willing and ready to organize and fall behind the Black Panther Party. That is what made the Black Panther Party so dangerous. That is why they killed Fred Hampton in the middle of the night in his bed. That is why they more than likely MK Ultra'd Huey P. Newton in prison.
On July 4th.
But no, don't try to be Revolutionary Billy Badass. Do not try to be Revolutionary Billy Badass. Do not let anybody try to talk you into being Revolutionary Billy Badass. Because ultimately it's going to be you during the time, not them. It's going to be you lying cold in the ground while your family sobs and cries over your grave and puts flowers on it until they forget about you. Not the people on the internet telling you that you have to be a hard ass. Organize the people and study theory. If you're in DSA, join Liberation Caucus.
Friday night at approximately 10:37 p.m. at the Prairieland ICE Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas, 10 to 12 individuals dressed in black military-style
Damn, that's like our armor squad.
clothing began shooting fireworks and engaging in acts of vandalism at the facility. And this was part of an organized attack. Today, my office has charged 10 individuals with 3 counts of attempted murder of a federal officer. Each of the 10 are also charged with 3 counts of discharging a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. Each of these defendants faces a mandatory prison term of 10 years and up to life in prison. An additional co-conspirator was charged with obstruction of justice and conspiracy for attempting to conceal and destroy evidence in relation to the attack, and he faces up to 10 years in prison. Let's discuss the incident. It was a planned ambush with the intent to kill ICE corrections officers. Make no mistake, this was not a so-called peaceful protest. It was indeed an ambush. The attackers used the vandalism that I described, which seemed to be designed to draw ICE personnel outside the facility, and it worked. After about 10 minutes of having convened...
Sounds like your boys should have an appropriate training. If you're in a fortified position and a bunch of people are out making a bunch of noise and shooting fireworks off, why the fuck would you go out there? Come on, aren't most of you guys like former military?
1 or 2 individuals broke off from the group. They engaged...
You're St. Louis PSL, but you do bring up that we need to organize more with y'all in DSASTL. Okay, cool. Yeah, y'all are welcome to our meetings. Y'all are welcome to our events. Look forward to meeting you in person.
In the graffiti, they
And yes, I will sign an autograph.
damaged vehicles and a guard structure. The graffiti had such words as traitor, ice pig, other profanity.
I'm going to make a new party. Parties aren't made by one person. Would you join a party that was launched by a Twitch streamer? Be honest.
Then there was a 911 call from the...
What, are you going to run Hassan for president and me for vice president? That would be some funny shit, but it would be a race to resources.
Facility.
There's really is no foundation for a Maoist party in the United States because, like, we have to organize and develop the cadres first, and we have to sink deep roots into the masses. We cannot just be another, like, trot-type party that just sells newspapers and sets up scholastic book fair booths at every leftist event and worries the hell out of everybody. That's not how I want to live the rest of my life. Like, I feel sorry for those like 80-year-old RCP dudes that obviously have been in this shit since the Revolutionary Union. Like, I would love to pick these guys' brains because I know, like, Bob Avakian literally met Huey and Eldridge and all these other people. Well, I don't want to talk to him about Eldridge Cleaver's sick ass, but like, dude has seen some shit. But he's so like these people are so brainwashed. Like, you literally have a lot of revolutionary history that you are a obtuse U.S. socialist and you are not it's just, okay, whatever you say, buddy. If you hate me so much, then why the fuck are you watching me? Go find something more productive to do with your life if you hate me then.
Armed corrections officers went outside to speak with the vandals. One of the gunmen signaled using a flashlight to the vandals. Now, the gunman was not with them. He was separate and apart. At one point, the Alvarado police officer arrived, a single police officer. An assailant who was positioned in the woods shot him in the neck area.
Ooh, ouch. Ooh,
Another
ouch,
assailant who was across the street, nowhere near the corrections officers, shot 20 to 30 rounds at these unarmed corrections officers. There was an AR-style rifle found at the scene. It was jammed, apparently discarded by the attackers. The assailants
That's why you take care of your weapons.
fled. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office was able to stop a vehicle. There was a single driver in that vehicle. The sheriff deputy saw in plain sight a firearm. Another firearm was
Why are you all fucking with people for having firearms? It's Texas. Firearms are legal in Texas, are they not?
in the back seat, and there were 2 Kevlar ballistic-style vests
Again, not illegal.
also in that vehicle. There was a second encounter with law enforcement about 300 yards from where the police officer was shot in the neck. Sheriff deputies stopped 7 individuals. Some were wearing body armor, some were covered in mud, some were armed, and some had 2-way radios on them. There were a total
Tried to move to Texas, but they denied you entry because you didn't have enough guns. Sounds like you need to get good, bro. So yeah, that's what happened. Again, nothing is certain and nothing is true unless these individuals are found guilty in a court of law. But even then, we know that courts of law are fucky, especially. I highly recommend that you hit up the link that I posted in chat. Crashing them. Drive off of your gaze. I do not make content for the white gaze. What ideology? Always ask about ideology. Trots, where they're at. Well, why do you care? They're out